Good morning and bonjour à tous. My name is Craig Larlee and I'm the Work Program Coordinator in the GEO Secretariat, which is based in Geneva, Switzerland. Thank you very much for your kind invitation to speak with you today, and I certainly wish I could be there and join you in person in the room. I would like to provide you here with a brief introduction to the Group on Earth Observations and the GEO Work Program, after which my colleague Emma Luke will be providing an introduction to the Pacific Islands Advisory Group, which is part of GEO. To begin with, the Group on Earth Observations is an intergovernmental partnership of 112 countries plus the European Commission. These GEO members are grouped into regional caucuses, 4 of which have created their own implementing arms called regional GEOs. The regional GEOs are often the first points of contact for new countries when they join GEO. They also provide a means for countries within a region to collaborate on topics of common interest. GEO also welcomes international organizations to be fully involved in its activities. These participating organizations, as they're called, include many United Nations organizations, as well as organizations that may be quite familiar in the Pacific region, such as the Pacific Community, the Micronesia Conservation Trust, and the Secretariat of the Pacific Regional Environment Program. GEO's mission is to further the use of Earth observations to inform decision-making. Earth observations for us includes the full range of data collected about the Earth, whether by direct observation by people, by the use of instruments on the ground, in the water, or in the air, or by remote sensing from space. To fulfill this mission, GEO works by first advocating the open sharing of data, information, and knowledge to support decisions, to engage with a wide range of stakeholders to understand their needs and to co-design appropriate solutions. And thirdly, to deliver Earth observation-based methods, tools, and services to build capacity and address regional challenges. This mission is very broad, and so we have decided to focus our efforts primarily on supporting the implementation of several global policy frameworks. These are the Agenda 2030 for Sustainable Development, climate action based on the UN FCCC process, disaster risk reduction based on the Sendai framework, and most recently, the new Urban Agenda. The way we work is through activities in the GEO Work Program. We currently have over 60 activities in the GEO Work Program, each one of which is focused on a specific set of users and user needs. GEO Work Program activities are open collaborations of our members, participating organizations, and others who work together collectively on common projects. Each of these activities is aimed at developing open, reusable methods for using Earth observations to support decisions in a particular domain. These include forecasting floods, conserving biodiversity, monitoring disease pests, tracking changes in mangrove forests, and many others. The results of these activities are available for countries, organizations, individuals, and even the private sector to take up, extend, adapt, and use as needed. There are 5 basic types of GEO Work Program activities. These activities start what are currently called community activities, though this name is likely to change in the next version of our work program. Essentially, these are early stage projects that intended to pilot ideas and to demonstrate their viability for extending to a broader scale. GEO initiatives are activities that have demonstrated their potential and have built a strong community of users and collaborators. They form the core of our work program. GEO flagships are those initiatives that exemplify the kind of continuing services and connection to international policy mandates that GEO seeks to build across all of its work. Regional GEOs, which I mentioned earlier, connect and adapt the results of global initiatives to address the specific needs and challenges of their regions. Underpinning all of these activities are foundational tasks, which provide common infrastructure and services that support the entire GEO community. Some of the more mature activities in the GEO work program include the Global Forest Observation Initiative, the GEO Global Agricultural Monitoring, GEO Biodiversity Observation Network, and the Global Observation System for Mercury. I invite you to explore the websites at the links in this presentation to learn more about the activities. And of course, I'll be making the presentation available through the organizers after this after the presentation. Finally, I would like to inform you that we are just about to begin the development of our next 3-year GEO work program, this one being for the period of 2023 to 2025. As well as providing a reset and renewal of the full work program, and this is also an opportunity for communities to propose new activities for the GEO work program. A formal call will be communicated in a few weeks. New activities will need to complete an online form describing the intended activity and the participants in the project. I invite anyone interested in proposing a new activity to contact me to discuss the proposal. I am available to assist you in the preparation of the proposal and to answer any questions you may have about the process. If the timing is too short to prepare your proposal, don't worry. We're still able to consider proposals for new activities outside of this schedule. With that, I will turn the floor over to my colleague, Emma. Thank you for your attention.
Emma, the floor is yours. You can share your screen.
Fantastic. I will be with you in just one moment. Okay. Hopefully the technology gods are kind to me today. Is it coming up? Can you see my screen?
Yes, we do.
Fantastic. And can you see the slides as opposed to all the notes?
Screen yet, but
okay. Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you to Craig for your excellent overview.
Are you in full screen on your side?
I should be.
It's not in presentation mode yet, Emma.
Craig, would you be able to do me a favour and just present from your side, and I'll tell you when to change the slides? Would that be okay?
Let's see. I just need to
find locally if needed.
That might be easier because I'd have to look for the presentation in my email.
It is literally the same one, but yes, thank you. If you could do that, that would be great. Sorry about that.
No worries. Here we go. Just forgot to share the screen before. Can you see the screen?
Okay. Lovely, fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay, well, good morning and salut. Thank you, Craig, for your excellent overview of the Group on Earth Observations and its comprehensive work program. Building on Craig's talk, it is my great pleasure to talk to you today about GEO's Pacific Island Advisory Group, or PIAG. Next slide, please. Mine is a 3-part presentation covering the history of GEO's engagement with the Pacific leading to the establishment of PIAG, where the work of PIAG is currently at, and how it connects to different parts of GEO's work program. And third, how the work of PIAG can support local geomatic communities, including yourselves, and of course, vice versa. Next slide, please. Despite the Pacific's close connection and reliance on land and sea, and responsibility for the largest maritime area worldwide, it was only very recently PIC's engagement in GEO has been somewhat limited. Next slide, please. This is surprising given the many different types of Earth observation activities and projects underway across the region. Many of these activities are also supported by the international community, including those that are highly active within GEO. Next slide, please. GEO Week 2019, held in Australia and included a ministerial summit. It represented a unique opportunity to shine a spotlight on the Earth observation needs of the Pacific and to connect the region more closely with the broader international Earth observation community. From a PICT perspective, GEO Week 2019 achieved 3 great outcomes. The first was the acknowledgement in the Ministerial Declaration of the EO needs of the Pacific and other small island developing states because of their increased vulnerability to the effects of climate change. The second one was the development and subsequent endorsement of a Talanoa Statement on Earth observations for the Pacific. The third outcome was the announcement of an Earth observation needs assessment in the Pacific. This project would be led by the Pacific Community, or SPC. Following the success of 2019, the GEO Executive Committee agreed that a Pacific Island Advisory Group should be established to continue efforts to increase engagement by Pacific in GEO. Most recently, PEAG has been developing a work plan that has a number of tangible deliverables designed to increase engagement between the Pacific and GEO communities. While this work plan will be a living document that changes over time according to the needs, there is also a one-page overview that highlights the structure and the logical flow of high-level goals through to activities, outputs, and outcomes. Next slide, please. So the first thing to note is there is a lot of information on this slide. I won't go into all of it today, but I'm of course very happy to talk about it any time after the presentation. Instead, I want to draw your attention to 2 specific things. Next slide, please. The first is that there are 5 areas of action for PEAG. These are broadly classed as scoping, consulting, connecting, aligning, and advising. Connected with each of these areas of action are a sequence of activities that PEAG members will undertake. Moving from left to right on the diagram, those activities in turn lead to a set of outputs to support the objectives of several important policy agendas, as shown on the far right. Next slide, please. The second part I really want to focus on are 2 areas of action that will be best achieved through local leadership by the Pacific itself, through regional crop agencies, member governments, the academic community, and the Earth observation diaspora itself. So the first of these is scope the EO needs and priorities of the Pacific. Strong engagement by the Pacific is essential to the GEO community better understanding the Pacific's Earth observation needs and priorities. I'm pleased to acknowledge the work of SPC in this area, who have been actively engaging with its members to identify the EO needs and end-user priorities across the Pacific. The second area relates to PEAG term of reference number 3. Connect technical EO activities in the Pacific with those happening in GEO. While GEO has a comprehensive and impressive structure, at its heart, it is the people that drive the action. GEO is a unique forum that brings together government, academia, and business to use Earth observations to support international development agendas across many thematic areas. Increased participation by the Pacific in GEO activities will result in knowledge exchange, the sharing of ideas, information, and expertise, both for the Pacific and for the GEO community as a whole. And this is where we are so lucky to have Jean Massenet as one of our PEAG co-leads to help us think about the ways to best facilitate local Pacific communities' engagement in both GEO's regional and global programs. Could I please go to the next slide? Thank you. In practicality, what does this look like? Some of this work is already underway, and as a people-centred activity, will be ongoing. For example, a review of GEO's work program identified Blue Planet as a high priority for Pacific engagement. So we invited Blue Planet to present an overview at a PAG meeting. This led to further discussions between Blue Planet and the Micronesia Conservation Trust to explore potential areas of collaboration. While at times this may feel like slow work, I do believe that building people-to-people links between the geo community and the Pacific is crucial to ensuring our engagement is sustainable over the longer term. Our efforts can be aided by presentations at conferences such as this one. If there has been something of particular interest to you from Craig or my presentations this morning, please talk to Jean about how we can connect you into our work. In doing so, we are connecting the regional geomatic communities with the global, and through this, providing local communities with better EO-based products and services. I'd like to thank you for your attention.
Many thanks both Emma and Craig for those really interesting presentations. We might open the floor to questions if anyone have a question, both locally and virtually. Bien sûr. Oui, bien sûr. Donc la Nouvelle-Calédonie était représentée à différents niveaux pendant les workshops en fait à Brisbane et pendant la Geo Week. J'ai notamment eu la chance de représenter l'ART. Donc j'ai fait une présentation là-bas au titre de l'ART GeoDev NC. Et du coup, on nous a demandé dans un second temps, ça devait être un an plus tard, d'avoir une représentation. Je crois que je ne sais pas si le micro fonctionne, je crois pas. 1, 2, 2. 1, 2, 2. Donc on nous a demandé un an plus tard d'avoir une représentation dans ce PIAG, ce Pacific Island Advisory Group, en tant que île de la région Pacifique. Donc au titre de l'ART GeoDev Nouvelle-Calédonie, on m'a demandé d'y assister. Donc c'est bien à ce titre effectivement que je suis fier de représenter, du coup, ou du moins de contribuer comme je le peux aux réflexions et aux travaux qui y sont menés. C'est bien entendu ouvert à tous. N'hésitez pas, si vous avez, tous les documents et les éléments sur lesquels on travaille sont open. Donc n'hésitez pas, si vous avez la moindre question, si vous voulez y prendre part, y contribuer plus activement, ce sera toujours avec plaisir, sachant que c'est un travail communautaire et comme l'a dit Emma, le but est d'avoir le maximum de retours d'expérience et de contributions des différentes communautés, dont celle de la Nouvelle-Calédonie, mais je pense aussi à Wallis et Futuna et la Polynésie française, ainsi qu'aux autres îles de la région qui nous suivent en ligne.
Alors pour des questions sanitaires, je n'ai pas le droit de vous passer le micro, donc je vais devoir poser moi-même votre question. Donc,
du coup, c'était pour Pierre Pestagna, service de développement urbain de la ville de Nouméa, et c'était pour savoir si on pouvait au moins développer les axes stratégiques pour tout ce qui est urban resilience. Donc l'axe qui a été développé et qui est nouveau.
Donc c'est l'axe urbain. D'accord. Donc c'est Monsieur Pestagna de la ville de Nouméa qui pose une question sur le développement donc de l'axe urbain qui a été exposé tout à l'heure. Au moins savoir les grands axes stratégiques.
From Emma or Craig, you want to answer the question? I can open your mic.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Just to understand the question well, it was about the urban priority?
Priorité urbaine, c'est ça?
Oui, oui. Yes. Tout ce que je fais.
We do not hear you, sorry. Well, this is all about informatic, IT stuff. Excuse me? What about? You can hear him through the channel? Which canal do you use, Craig? Actually, we hear you on the headphones, but not in the room. Craig, sorry about that. Could you please select the canal floor, the floor canal, for the audio? Huh? Then we can all hear you. Does he have to disconnect or something? It's. Excuse me, can you continue speaking?
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, shall I go?
Yes, please, sorry.
The question, I believe, if I understand correctly, was about the urban connection. I was saying that we have been working in GEO in conjunction with the UN Habitat, and essentially we are, when we talk about urban issues, we're talking about human settlements, broadly speaking. So it includes not only the issues affecting large cities, but also issues affecting smaller communities, informal settlements, even rural settlements, essentially looking at the impacts of disasters, climate, and other issues as they affect human settlements, and how Earth observations can be applied to decision making in these contexts. This is a new area for GEO. In fact, this is coming up at our plenary later this month for a decision, and we're hoping to ramp up this work considerably in the coming years. Certainly, if there are particular interests from this community in the Pacific in respect to human settlements, we would be interested in hearing your perspectives.